What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a new and improved, updated episode of the Download Queue. I found out this week we are approaching our 1 year anniversary rapidly, which means we needed updates. So we got fancy with it. We're kind of professional now. Kyle, how are you doing over there on the West Coast?
I'm good. You got me on video. Can't sit like a gremlin. I can't lay down. I can't chug. I don't know actually. Anyways, it's good. It's cool.
Getting
We're
drunk in the
making.
back.
Yeah, you could tell, right? Uh, no, it's cool. It's crazy that you've been doing this for a year, and we have. That means we're getting closer to doing this for a year together, which is really cool, really awesome.
Yeah, it's I was looking because it should be time because it was around my birthday, obviously. Uh, I think your first is on the 14th of November. So yeah, about a month after it was the first
That's crazy.
appearance when we did Game Award stuff. I think.
That makes sense. Like a game of the year stuff
Yeah,
prediction.
yeah.
Yeah, I kind of remember.
We've grown.
Yes,
Things
we
have
have.
changed. But we're still hanging out.
Yeah.
Ah, moving on though. As you can see if you're on video, we got new fancy video background now, backboard. Some of our screenshots we both taken, updating periodically, cycling through, so you're not just looking at a static image as we go. Couple things this week, couple games we've been playing, couple news stories, bunch of speculation, the usual. But Kyle, I'm excited this week. We finally, after months of waiting, we finally got that new hardware announcement from Nintendo.
I do love the hardware from Nintendo.
It's
What is it? Tell us about it.
it's we got bright and early announcement of Nintendo Alarmo, a $99 alarm clock that features some of your favorite songs from a couple games, which is cool. I like the idea. But if I'm trying to wake up in the morning, the last thing I want to hear is Zelda music because that's going to put me back to sleep.
It's I just love the seeing it online, being like, of course they have that. And then the tweets of like, they announced hardware. They announced hardware. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's a cool thing, not for $100 though. I like the gimmick. It's such a like a toy for collectors, a thing for collectors and for children, but like that $100 price tag is pretty crazy. But good for them, and whoever buys it, enjoy it. That definitely would never be something I bought. Now an Xbox alarm clock.
That's what I was going to say. I wonder how fast these things are going to be hacked into and modded with custom stuff and people just doing off the wall stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
Because it's got
just
internet connection. They're going to update it throughout time, so I have access somehow.
yeah. Someone's already gonna be They're already eyeing and working on breaking into that. Just putting their own things.
Someone's going to have Doom 2 running on this, and you have to beat the game to shut the alarm off by the end of the week.
Oh my god, it's just tied to your gameplay. It's
Damn,
actually a fascinating. That's a fun stream idea.
that's an
You have an
aggravating stream
alarm clock
idea.
going forever. Oh, that's awful actually for my ears.
I just want to start off with something fun. Moving on, sticking with the Nintendo
Yep.
though, something you brought up today that's happened this week. We got more leaks. More kind of. I mean, it's got some illegal activity at Nintendo, Kyle.
Yeah,
This.
he
Go
go
ahead. Go
for it.
ahead. I gotta pull stuff
I
up.
was just Oh yeah, I was just it's huge leak from Game Freak. They got hacked. First off, a ton of employees' information is apparently out there. So that's awful. That's not at all what we want to see. That puts people's livelihood, financial stability, personal safety at risk. If all that the info is out there now, being sold most likely. Really bummer. It's fun though to look at and to just see all the accounts that will soon be sued and nuked into oblivion by Nintendo's lawyers. But it's interesting to see what else got leaked. A lot of Pokemon centric stuff, as Game Freak is a predominant. I mean, they're a Pokemon developer specifically. I don't know too much about Nintendo's developers and such, but I know that's mainly what they do. We got so many things, origin stories for for Pokemon. Original concept art for the anime meeting emails about Ash no or ending the Ash story for Pokemon. It's just incredible and really unfortunate, but don't share it if you. I would not be publicizing this on your account because Nintendo. I can only imagine the aftermath of this and what they're going to do to lock it up and try to fix this. To try to at least scrape the internet clean of most of these things.
Yeah, I'm surprised. A lot of this I've seen has come mostly on 4chan, from what I've seen on Twitter, and they're even like stepping in and removing a bunch of the stuff as it pops up to try and avoid it. Uh, yeah, like you said, it's been 2,606 cases of current, former, and contract employee names and email addresses have been accessed. So it's not just game stuff; it's personal information, people's actual like livelihoods in the back end. But it's weird because this isn't the first. I was trying to find the original date, but this isn't the first leak for Pokemon. They had one before too, from Space World demo, which was like an E3 in Japan back in the day, where a bunch of Generation 2 Pokemon stuff was leaked and early design documents and character art and stuff like that. So I've had history with it, sadly, and it's not just Pokemon. We also got code names for the next console, which doesn't tell us anything, but cool back end stuff to know. Code names for the next game, code name for Pokemon next Pokemon Legends game, which I'm happy that's all I've known. I haven't seen any of the other major leaks, thankfully, because I'd rather be surprised by that stuff when it happens.
Yeah, just yeah, unfortunate that it's more employee stuff and it's interesting, but yeah, once again, it's like and it's similar with Insomniac. It's like I mean, it's very similar. It's like it's fun to see behind the curtain. Selfishly wanting, we're all waiting for more info for these companies and these games. It's like, oh yeah, but this is not the way that any of us want to receive it. People working on these things, the games, they're putting their time, energy, their passion into it, and then to have the rug ripped out from any type of announcement they're building to is a bummer. This one that's more so the Insomniac leak with like the Spider-Man projects and then Wolverine and such, but it fits the bill still. I still just don't understand what the point of hacking and leaking this type of stuff is.
No.
What's I guess it's selling it on the dark web and making that type of money, but like, well, there's other companies that do this too that are worse. Why do we gotta attack like the entertainment ones and the fun ones? Not that any corporation is fully good, but
Gotta stick it to Pikachu, man.
that's fair actually. We gotta get that bitch.
Secretly, it's like an undercover job from Disney. Mickey Mouse is worried about his spot being taken.
Oh man, wrong company. Pal World. This is all Pal World. Yeah.
You're gonna
So
sue us? Jokes.
jokes, we're gonna leak all your stuff.
Leak all your stuff.
But yeah, just so we'll see. I mean, what
It's
the bigger stuff, right?
yeah, it's shitty. I don't think it's gonna really change anything, as you mentioned with other the Insomniac leak. People were worried about that affecting stuff, and I thought too back to the GTA 6 leak last year when that happened, and everyone was worried about that either delaying development or whatever it has, because unfinished assets or if they'll have to change stuff after that. But I don't see that really affecting Pokemon here. They're pretty hard headed in the direction they're going and don't have any plans on changing it, I feel.
Yeah, I think it's just security stuff, right? And like, there's source codes for things, which is a bummer, but like, it just helps the modding community. But then anyone trying to use those original source things will probably be found very quickly. So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I doubt Nintendo changes much. They're probably still gonna carry on with what they are going to do.
They don't care. They see this, they laugh, and they just look at the billions of dollars they have stockpiled, and they're like, "Nah,
And then here you go, legal team. We'll talk to you in a couple months. You'll let us know what you do.
sue them into oblivion."
Yeah. So feel bad. I did see that like most of the leaks are like it has like the employee's name and like the account that got hacked on it, which that's a bummer for that person. If it was a phishing scam apparently, which oof, never go
Oh,
fishing alone.
It's like a fake email. Like, is this actually you? Please confirm your information here, and just gone.
They gone.
Weird stuff. I wish we would have got some Alarmo updates in the leaks. Keep with the times. Keep with the good news. People want the updates to the newest thing.
It's just all the leak was all Alarmo. Weird.
It'd be great. Sticking with leaks and rumors, kind of. We're supposedly getting another Microsoft third-party showcase. I forget the
Partner preview.
partner preview. Thank you. Coming up this week, which I'm curious to see about. I'm more curious to see what they show or what games actually show up than what's actually shown off. Because I pulled up last year's, and it very much was a kind of layout plan of what their marketing strategy is for the upcoming year, like what they focus on marketing third party wise. And looking ahead at 2025, I can't really think of like any bigger massive third parties they'd want to partner with to showcase in this at a time in the middle of October after everything's said and done, kind of. So I'm more curious to see what's actually showing up instead of what's shown off.
Yeah, when I read this today from Nate the Hateover, that reliable leakster who's done a couple things, uh, it was similar to you. It was just like I'm not sure what would be shown, but I'm intrigued on what they do because I think we are in a little bit of an unknown outside of obviously Xbox first parties, but we don't know a lot of PlayStation. There's a lot of games that got pushed into next year, but like what's going to be partnering with Xbox? What are they going to uh, who are they going to pay to get their game on the Game Pass? To get that game on the Game Pass? Who are they partnering with? I think you would hope there's probably a big fish within there. Um, but yeah, I mean, do you think maybe Assassin's Creed Shadows showed off in any way, or do you think that's on ice until probably later in the year or next year since they just delayed it?
I feel like it was. Like when they originally were putting this together, it probably was, and then yeah,
That's a
taken
good
out
point.
when they started canceling all the preview events and stuff for it. But yeah, is Xbox marketing for Assassin's Creed next year?
I mean, I don't. Well, it showed up at both shows. I think they've done trailers at the PlayStation thing they did earlier. They've done something for Xbox. So I think they're just making their rounds, and for a partner preview, it makes sense to show more of the game off if this has already been planned for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they have any marketing deal specifically.
Because yeah, looking
Maybe
at. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe they buy Ubisoft.
Announce that here this week. God.
Here's our partner preview. They're actually now a first party studio. No, that's just going off the rumor that they're looking to be sold, which we'll see if that ever happens.
Our partner is now family, forcefully.
Oh, that's cute though.
Yeah, I was
But
looking
yeah,
at.
like go.
I was looking at this year's. It was actually March we had one, so it would be two this year for the partner previews. Persona 3 was there, Stalker Trilogy, The Alters, which you demoed. That first showing of that was in March. Roblox, and then the Tales of Kanzara Zao was kind of the big indie hit there. So it's a mix of you have your big AAA one or two things, but it's a lot of mostly just smaller indies if they follow suit from earlier in the year.
Yeah, which kind of makes sense just to fill out the holiday season. I mean, you have Call of Duty, you have coming out, and then the next big one being Flight Simulator, and then Indiana Jones, right?
Yep.
So you have some whatever small indie games are coming out in the next 3-4 months. That makes sense just to kind of fill it out, give them some light. Maybe I mean I don't know if we get more from like Unknown Nine: The Awakening. Do we see more of that, or maybe I'm thinking of a different game? I would love to see more Expedition 33. That'd be really
Yes.
cool. They're wait, didn't I think they're showing something this week? I think I
Three
think
days
they
from
were
now.
yeah. So I mean, maybe that's what they're referencing. Maybe they will be doing something at the partner showcase. Maybe they kind of accidentally leaked that.
That'd be sick.
I'm gonna look into that their socials real quick. But I would love to see more of that game because that looks real cool.
Yeah, that was very much my big surprise thing from the showcase in June. So any more of that, and having a marketing deal with Xbox. I mean, obviously doesn't affect me, but a chance of having it on Game Pass, cool. Which
Oh, Game Pass would be nice.
all just speculation, obviously, but the other thing in the March one too, which kind of lines up with some more rumors we've had from TGS, was the Final Fantasy 14 announcement was there in March. So I wonder if they double down on that, and this is where they do the Final Fantasy 16, if that is actually still coming. Announce that here.
I mean, they were just Phil and Sarah Bond were just at Square Enix talking with them. It would make sense to this be the moment they secure it, and what a great partner preview event to just end with like, it's coming later this year, or it's out right now. I doubt that. I think that's I think that's pretty likely.
It would be interesting. I'm curious to see how it does. I know we don't get the sales numbers anymore, but seeing kind of where those games fall in the charts, um, especially I've kind of been following the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters and where those have landed, and I don't think they've quite broke like top 10 sales, which I wouldn't expect them to do, but seeing kind of where the actual reception from the Xbox community is, because that's been the argument a lot of the times in past years is Xbox is kind of the multiplayer place, and Call of Duty and Halo and all this, and Sony's more focused on single player stuff like that and JRPGs. So I hope it's. I don't think they're going to backtrack on it, but seeing how much they actually gain from putting previous exclusive titles on other platforms now.
Dude, look at Metaphor ReFantasia this week, breaking records. It's also they had most of the marketing was with Xbox, and it still did fine, right? It didn't slog it down. They're selling better. It premiered on Steam, doing good numbers. So yeah, I think just because some old Pixel games aren't selling well, guess what? They still sold,
Mm-hmm.
and people are excited. People are playing Persona 3 on Game Pass. I am. I want to buy Metaphor. I'm really, but I gotta beat Persona 3. I think it would also serve me well to see their evolution to go from 3 and then on. But like, I mean, it. I don't see it. I'm someone who never played JRPGs, and because they put Persona on Game Pass, I am now into. I'm enjoying them. I'm looking forward to them. So yeah, I think the win-win. So no reason not to keep going forward with putting these games on all platforms, not just Xbox.
Be
And
interesting.
then the Expedition 33 stuff they have in 3 days as of right now. So on Tuesday they're premiering something, which I think makes sense for Xbox on Tuesday to say a show is happening later in the week. Maybe tomorrow we get something. So I doubt they're connected, but maybe it is.
I mean, it could. Again, it was at the June showcase. So if they'd locked down marketing on that, dope. Let them have it. That game looks exciting, and I'm so ready to see more of it.
That's turn based as well, right?
That's the one. It's a mixture. It's turn-based combat with like QTEs mixed in. So you pick an ability to do, and you have like timing elements in between for extra damage or bonus attacks or whatever. So it's a mix of the two.
Got it. Yeah, see, I'm excited for that.
Looks good. It's one of the more unique things that like you ask someone what they're wanting out of a new game, wouldn't tell you any of that game or the story of it, but you see it and you're like all in. Yeah, it'll be it too with this being so close to December and the Game Awards. What what kind of names you're going to get just if people are saving their stuff for a Game Awards announcement instead of a smaller showcase like this, or if it's going to be teases for some stuff at the Game Awards, but that'll be a little bit yet to be seen. Less than 2 months from yesterday, I believe, on the 12th, we will find out.
Oh, that's true.
Do
Sneaking up.
did you decide, are you making the trek over there again this year?
Oh, I haven't had any conversations with my wife about that. We just haven't talked about it
Damn it,
because we had to, yeah,
we
we
got
have a baby
kids.
now, but also we can like react to it, and I get being there. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's one of those things. It is the 10th year, so I expect them to go a little more crazy with it, a little bigger. But then it is just becoming, I don't know, more of a thing, right? Like,
it's Jeff.
who knows?
It's either gonna be a serious change from last year's criticisms online in a completely different direction to piss new people off, Never gonna be a happy medium.
No, yeah, I don't think not in the gaming space.
No.
There's too many loud parties
Yeah.
with strong opinions.
Sticking
But
with
yeah, we'll see.
Xbox, I want to move on. Did you know today, or was it yesterday? I think it's today. Today is the 1 year anniversary of the closure of the Activision Blizzard deal from year long legal battles.
And we're just starting to get, the benefits of that.
Which
Some
is
argue,
wild.
some argue we haven't yet.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm just throwing this in here because I'm curious. Where are the games, Kyle? Why are we getting any of these titles? We're getting the
Yeah,
first Call of Duty finally. Diablo is the biggest one by far, especially with the new expansion out finally. But besides that, like, they announced the StarCraft games coming to PC, so those are coming. But
that's good.
really, it's just Diablo and Overwatch.
Yeah, I'd imagine a lot of the old libraries, especially Activision titles, are stuck in what's the word I'm looking for? Copyright stuff, unfortunately. And then also I just think because of the way the lawsuit happened and it's all about a monopoly and blah blah blah. Like they can't just dump everything at once. You also have a whole library. You can drip feed that content, which is what they've been doing. Uh I like the
Very
cadence
slowly.
of stuff that which is nice, but at some point I do expect them to put just everything on there. But I think they have to wait. Who knows? It might be a. I just think they're just waiting because they can't overload it. For one thing, you have all this stuff. It's a hit in perception when you add all the old Call of Duties on there. But again, why have all the old ones on there when you're about to put the new one on there? And you want to funnel everyone into that. So that kind of makes sense as well.
Yeah, the IP things really, even like before this closed, was in the back of my mind because everyone was bringing up a bunch of the Activision games and what they wanted in, and a lot of it was other licensed stuff, whether it be Marvel, Ultimate Alliance, Transformers, Tony Hawk with licensed music. Like, there's a list of other hurdles there.
Oh, oh wait, Tony Hawk is first party now. Never mind.
Yeah, it
I was
is.
gonna say I was like, wait, they've been hinting at stuff that could. He said, I can't say anything else, but there's stuff coming. Tony Hawk talking about games, but he can't talk about it.
Give it to us,
But
Tony.
it's not a partner preview. I was like, maybe we get Tony Hawk, but their first party.
It'll be interesting. But yeah, just it's a lot of other hurdles outside of hey, we own you now. That doesn't mean you own everything they've done before. Which it's the same thing that happened, ironically, with Xbox back in the day when they purchased Rare. Because they were thinking when they purchased Rare, they're getting the Donkey Kong IP. That's not how that works. So it will be curious to see when the stuff does start coming out, how much of that actually comes over, and if they have to do any changes. Like if it is when Tony Hawk finally comes, are you getting different soundtracks in it because they can't license all the music for this reason, or whatever happens, if it's going to be kind of pieced together versions of the games people are expecting.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's just most of that old stuff isn't going to come forward. Uh, Unfortunately, like you still buy it. Like it's the stuff is still for sale in most cases, but on the stores and such. Not the 360 store. That's dead now. But yeah, I can't imagine them bringing like more Tony Hawk outside of the most recent remake of Pro Skater 1 and 2,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a brand new game essentially.
With that too, and or if they go a route of there was leaked stuff of them wanting to remake 3 and 4 back in the day. If they put
Which
that back into production, do something like that, revive that for the anniversary of this year or whatever. But
and I think that's honestly most likely or both 3 and 4 and Underground 1 and 2. But I think that's later into the year. Just I mean that I don't know when they would announce that though. Yeah, I'd love that.
be dope. Add it on my list of stuff I need to get to eventually.
Yeah, more of the backlogs
Yeah, slowly but surely working through.
until they
Be,
add more to it.
yeah, be able to work through it a little more easier coming up though, with an update to Xbox's mobile stuff in a way. We got update to you're now able to purchase games via Android App Store natively and play them remote play on your phone. Which I hope you know a little more about this because I'm still kind of at a loss for how this works. But
But yeah, so the Apple, not Apple, I want it to be Apple. The Google and Epic lawsuit thing kind of came to a close where the judge ruled that Google must open the Play Store. They had an unfair monopoly. They were essentially requiring any type of payment that went through an app. You're subscribed to it. They also it went through the Play Store, so they got to cut through it, and that was not fair, essentially. You know. So now I have some of the notes from The Verge over here. Their article posted this week, October 7th. So starting November 1st, Google has to, and ending in 2027, Google has to stop requiring play billing apps distributed on the Google Play Store. So you can't have them tied. Essentially, apps were tied to the payment system when you don't need. That's not allowed. Essentially, uh, they need to let Android developers tell users about other ways to play within the store. Let Android developers link to ways to download their apps outside of the Play Store, and let Android developers set their own prices for apps irrespective of play billing. Google also can't share app revenue with any person or entity that distributes Android apps or plans to launch an app store or an app platform. Offer developers money or perks to launch their apps on the Play Store exclusively or first. Offer developers money or perks not to launch their apps on rival stores. Offer device makers and your carriers money or perks to pre-install the Play Store, or offer devices or device makers or carriers money or perks not to pre-install rival stores. Essentially, you can't tell people not use your store. You can't make people use your store that then gives you more money, which is awesome and has led to Epic Game Store going to be put on Google Play so you can buy games directly from that. And now Xbox is also jumping into that. We already know Xbox is planning and has planned to have a mobile app store, and this is clearly what they were hoping to happen legally, so now they can. It's only on Android, but you will be able to buy Xbox games from your phone, which you can't do currently. You have to go to a web browser uh, and whatnot and then do it. So you can buy it from the app specifically, because you can buy a game from your phone right now. It's just you can't do it from the Xbox app. It takes you out. And now you don't have to on Android, which is awesome because that sets up being able to just play a game natively from your phone. And that's what they're aiming to do. And even the fact that cloud gaming works pretty damn well. So now you can be on your Xbox on your Android, say I want to buy that game, buy it and play it instantly through the cloud as opposed to having to download it on your console. So a lot of cool stuff long term, not specifically like immediately cool for me with an Apple phone, right? But
eventually.
yeah, exactly. I hope this eventually, I mean, Apple will get caught in something like they already are, and they'll be forced to open it in some way as well. Because, yeah, just let us play stuff and buy stuff how we want.
Yeah, I'm happy this is happening finally, and it's again more sort of building blocks to the future for Xbox. Again, with mobile stuff being talked about all year, how much they're financially putting into that side of things and how much time and effort they're putting into that market specifically. Really trying to tap into the millions of people that are playing games on their phone, whether it be on a device for that specifically or just your phone as is. Like, that's a large player base that they, outside of a few things, really don't reach. Like, yeah, you have what Microsoft had before. You have like Microsoft Bingo on your phone. Like, that was kind of their extent on things. And now, yeah, with these doors opening up with their planned mobile hardware, it's again play Xbox games wherever you have a screen. We've heard that since the court case last year. You got a screen in your pocket. Almost everyone does. Sure, it doesn't sell console units, but it makes your player numbers go up. It makes your active monthly people go up, and it makes your dollar number go up.
Yeah. But also, maybe you're tired of just playing it on your phone and getting it, attaching it to your TV, streaming it to your TV for a bigger screen just isn't fully cutting it out, and you're really into this game that you got on Game Pass, I guess I'm buying the cheaper handheld that can dock, or maybe I'm buying the nice premium console. That's my prediction for hardware. Uh, but yeah, I think it just once you're in the ecosystem, then it's a little bit easier to spend that money to justify, like, well, I already here, so I'm fine dropping that couple $500 on a console because I am playing it. So I think it makes sense. It kind of goes back to what Phil was saying a while ago in an interview where he was saying Xbox lost one of the most important generations with the PS4 because that's where digital libraries became a bigger thing.
Hmm.
And now, I mean, I stuck with Xbox, and that is 100% like into my. I've been on Apple for years. That totally like influences my decisions on such. I have a lot. I could download games I bought from 2014 on my Xbox, right? And why would I abandon that for another platform? So I get it, right? So how does Xbox navigate that and try to entice people? And this is what they're doing, and I think it's a good move. Especially, I mean, yeah, like you said, everyone has a phone, or not. Most people have a screen in their pocket, and that screen can do a lot of cool things. And why not play games?
Yeah, it's Xbox again. We may not see it now. Your average consumer won't see it, but it's them kind of getting one step ahead on where things are going in the future. Which good for them. Like that's what you need. You need to have that foresight to see the trends and where people are going, where people are playing. I mentioned last week or the week before, like there's a reason your top games are your Fortnites, your Call of Duties. People want the fast paced get in, get out type of stuff. Call of Duty Mobile does numbers. Fortnite on mobile does numbers. It's they don't care how you get to the checkout line. They're opening all the doors they can to get you in the store. That's that.
Mhm. Agree. Now, do you think Xbox is bringing back Microsoft Phone?
The Windows Phone. If
Yeah,
they if
that
if they do, I only want it under one condition that I get a new Zune because
is
I
that the
loved
Xbox
my Zune.
handheld?
It's just a Zune. As long as they have the game they had on them, where it's like Guitar Hero with the songs you had downloaded, like moving the shit back and forth on it, then yeah, absolutely, I'm all in.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was a Jesus is like middle, no, like elementary school for me, I think. Yeah, there was a guy who had a Zune. I remember that game. I was like,
It,
that's really cool.
it was really cool. I'll take one for that
Yeah,
alone.
that's funny. But yeah, that'd be interesting to see. Like, I think I saw this somewhere online, and someone's like, imagine if Microsoft just kept making the Windows Phone if they didn't abandon it. At this point, like, man, we'd have an Xbox handheld, right?
Yeah,
Funny. I mean, that's all hindsight's 2020, but
it's
your
what could have
foresight
been.
could be.
That about does it for the news this week, though, Kyle.
All right, see ya.
It's been goodbye, everyone. Half hour. We're out. Got shit to do. We've been playing some games. You finally rolled credit, rolled credits on Shattered Space and Starfield this week. What are your final thoughts? You did a great review online that I appreciate the way you're doing these because it's a casual conversation more so than kind of nailing out points, and I appreciate the more candidness of it. So it was a good review.
Yeah,
But for the people,
thank you.
quick run through.
Yeah, please. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's definitely kind of trying to figure out my style with that. I don't like. Yeah. Anyways, I like a more free flowy conversation. It's fun doing that with yourself. I recommend it. But yeah, beat Shattered Space that year. This past week, and my experience was definitely plagued by bugs by the end of it. Definitely didn't sour it. That's too strong of a word, but it left me wanting more out of it, and I just feel like I missed out on stuff. So it is what it is there. I don't think they ruined it, but it definitely influenced my opinion overall. I had certain quest icons not show up. I had all the quest icons except the one I wanted to follow on my screen if I popped up the scanner, and that's fun. I had to follow the arrow, which is more immersive. I did say that. That's cool. I had to use the scanner to find my mission, which is cool. but I would also have been able to love to actually have locations discoverable and unlock for me instead of just staying grayed out and act like I've never been there before. So at some point, I'm waiting for a patch to go back with my other character and continue along with the character that beat the campaign overall. Uh, Story wise and such, I do think it's. I mean, overall, let me just start there. Overall, it's more Starfield, and I think they expanded in a great way. I think they heard the feedback of the procedural planets being empty, and what they did with Dazra and the planet of Ruinkai is good. It feels handcrafted. Just the aspects from when you're walking from the big city, which still feels like a bubble, but from the big city to one of the locations outside to go do a quest, there's like trails that follow along. There's fence posts and lamps, and that just really makes the world feel lived in, as opposed to, oh, here's big New Atlantis, and I go outside the city and there's no signs. If my back's to the city, there's no signs there's life here other than animals, and that's a big complaint. Just visually looking at the world, right? They fixed that. Dazra is great. I really do. I loved walking around the city. I'm looking forward to being able to discover the stuff because I definitely feel like my exploration is not worth it at the moment because of that. So is what it is. Is what it is there. But it's more Starfield. If you don't like Starfield, you're probably going to be wondering why people maybe like this. But it's good. It's good Starfield in my opinion. I think they expanded upon it. I want to do more of the side quest. I had some bugs with the dialogue options. Unfortunately, that made it feel a little goofy and funny for some of my side quests. And again, unfortunate overall, but I haven't had too many. This is the most buggy experience in Starfield I've ever had. So I'm not that upset, honestly, which isn't. Some people hear that and are like, well, that's dumb, right? But that's just how I feel because I do love the game. Now, overall, the ending I'm not going to spoil, but you have two decisions towards the end, and I definitely felt like they were rushed, and we kind of just got there quickly. I didn't care the first decision I'm referencing when you're inside and the main guy Anasko's talking to you and you have a decision to make. I was like, I don't care. Like, I don't care either way. I'm going to do the one that's more fun, right? Same thing with the end. I'm like, this sounds more fun for the end of the world. I mean, not that you're choosing the end of the world, but for the end of this thing, this decision can affect the world in my head. So I'm going to choose that. And world, I mean galaxy, right? I'm going to choose the more fun option, which again, that's me not role playing as much in that moment as my character. But when I got away from it this week and thought about it, it's kind of me still role playing as someone who is aware that they are spoilers for Starfield. They are Starborn and they can go to different universes. So in that moment, hey, this sounds fun. This is a new experience. I didn't have this choice before. Let's do this and see what happens. Like, let's explore what happens here because I know I can reset the universe. Sure, I'm leaving all these people behind with it. I don't care. So I just think that lends itself to Starfield as a whole being a game that lets you really role play and form a narrative around your own character. And again, it does, I guess, ask a lot out of you, but it worked for me as a whole. And the more I think about Shattered Space, it's like, oh, I kind of just, yeah, it's like Kyle knowing it's a game also doesn't ruin the story of my Starborn because they also know it's they're playing a game in a way. They can just jump to a new universe and restart. And like I think again, that's what I think is so cool about Starfield and the ending of being able to go to how they intertwine the narrative with that mechanic of going to New Game Plus creates those moments. And I think that is really awesome and hard to achieve. And I think they did it. And within that, there's a lot of things they had to sacrifice to make sure that worked and to make sure all the other systems they have at play work. So I think it's only up for Starfield. I'm excited to see more mods. I'm excited to see what else they add now that they got their first big story expansion, which, definitely could feel like you had three main factions in the first one and you just had this one not there. Why weren't they there? I now that we have all the four factions that they've been referencing there fully, what else, right? Are we going to get an eventual Starborn thing? That could be really interesting, but Starfield's in a great spot. For me personally, Shattered Space fell a little flat, but that's all purely to bugs. Other than that, I enjoyed it.
I'm happy I was able to join when you finished it in your stream. The the ending choices you're talking about, I picked the exact opposite. So it was nice being able to see the very, 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 very minute differences there were in those choices, which, like you said, it wanting it to feel lived in a world and having your choices matter. It's kind of like smoke and mirrors with it. Like, yeah, it's gonna mean something. When in reality, it's you had immediate kind of dialogue with your companions about it, and that's the last you hear about it forever. Like, it's how much you want out of the decisions you're making, and yeah, if you're okay with kind of top level bare bones conversations and fluff on things, you're gonna roll with it. But if you want those deeper RPG kind of groundbreaking decisions and changes to your game, yeah, it's not in Shattered Space.
Yeah, for sure. There, I will say the combat I felt was was good. I think the combat in Starfield is very good once you especially level up, once you get your perks going. Like it's very fun in my opinion. Uh, but the enemies being able to teleport back and forth, things popping out right next to you, and just following like it made it hectic, which was fun. The last fight, I was frustrated because I didn't have the quest icon showing me where I needed to go. I had to just follow the arrows and figure it out. So I kept dying, but it was fun. I thought, yeah, the verticality, the arena, I thought was solid. I enjoyed that.
I
And
wish
now
they.
I'm waiting. Oh, go for it.
I was gonna say I wish they would have added. I'm sure lore wise there probably isn't a reason to, but adding some of the new enemies to the base game as well. Not like the people, but like the bugs that you're fighting in the void, whatever. Like add more to the core game to kind of branch out from just the walls of the expansion, flesh out the other settled systems more. Like just add something
Yeah,
more to the core experience.
yeah, and that's based on my decisions. There should be, right?
Yeah,
there should be in my world, but I have not gone back, and I really should have before we recorded just to see that. But there should be, and if there's not, that makes sense from a technical standpoint and what I think how games work. And it is what it is, though. But it's I'm intrigued to see when I leave Dawser actually what happens, and uh, yeah,
it's
there's that.
Starfield. It's been a roller coaster. Looking back again, we've mentioned this a few weeks now, but like a year now plus leading up to the game releasing, like going through the ups and downs, and finally like kind of coming full circle. Now it's been an experience witnessing it.
Yeah, and I get it. Like it definitely leaves a lot out, right? You want not just the Starfield as a whole. Like, there's definitely a lot of seams that are visible once you get going, and it asks you to just kind of, hey, you're playing a game. You know you're playing a game now. Just believe and be in the world we're telling you that's here and now. And when you do that, it's good. But yeah, there's a lot of moments of dialogue choices, like the cameras just get. You're looking at pipes when someone's talking because you entered a dialogue section before they can fully walk up behind you. So they're off in the distance talking like they're right next to you. I find it funny, it's quirky, it's like it's a video game. Like it's doing that because of that reason. And I think there's a lot of technical stuff in Starfield that is amazing. Like the spaceship being you build that, you add a bunch of parts, you exit that menu, and it's built right behind you, ready to go, and you can walk in it. Like that's impressive, right? Like that's really cool. And you can do the same with Outpost, and it performs well. It doesn't. I haven't had issues trying to build the ship or trying to build an outpost where I feel like, oh, this is like clunky. It feels weird. They feel great. So again, there's a lot of things in Starfield where I can see where they put their effort into and where they didn't. And narrative complexity, they didn't put a lot of effort into that. But in setting up the world and what this world is of Starfield, the ambiance, the design, the choice, or not the choices, but like the technical things you can do, that like is very impressive.
It is. We said last week I'm excited to see what Starfield evolves into over time, next expansion, updates, next game. Like, the sky's the limit, literally. I just hope
Yeah.
they narrow it down and really focus on what they want the game to be known for.
I think I do have higher expectations, uh, bigger ask from them with the next expansion, right? I think, I don't know, maybe you could take this in a negative way, but I feel like this is what Starfield should have been when it released, right? I think they finally got there. But like, I don't think it needs this, but I do think it wouldn't hurt if it had a Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty 2.0 type update, right? I think maybe it doesn't need to be that intense where it's redoing a bunch of stuff, but like I do think it needs that type of moment if they are trying to change the perspective of Starfield. But I do think people who like Starfield and play Starfield know what it is, right? And I think Starfield is what it is, right? It's especially with Shattered Space. It is what it is still. It didn't drastically change the mechanics. It didn't, it's still Starfield, and that's good for you, good or bad if you liked it. But we'll see. Yeah, I think I would want more. I would want more universe spanning stuff, right? I love being just on the planet for a concise story. That's directly answering feedback, right, from gamers and complaints. So, but if the whole base game remains unchanged, I'm gonna be a little like, all right, now what are you gonna do for the whole base game? Because what I feel like you got to do something that affects everything now. So we'll see. But do you think we get? I know they said this year is lighter on updates. They're not going to do follow the cadence they had this past year going into next year. So do you think we get like another proper expansion next fall?
I would say at least one. I don't see, with the way the game already is, looking back at like Skyrim and Fallout, a lot of the stuff they did for those expansions kind of already exist. Like Skyrim had, I think, two big story ones, and then they had like a house building update. You don't got to do that in Starfield because it's already here. So unless they introduce a brand new sort of gameplay system, I feel it probably will just be two main story ones. They have the mods out already this year, which they're adding stuff into themselves as well. So it may not be as large as this, but one story expansion mods keep adding stuff in there, smaller incremental stuff that fleshes out certain parts of it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think there's one more, and I would love it to be Starborn focused, kind of something that almost wraps up your playthrough. Because right now you kind of just choose if it's over or not, but like there's not an ending. But it'd be interesting if there was something that can almost wrap it up in a bow, not so much where credits roll and that's it, bye, see you later, but something that puts a bow on that side of the story because that is so open ended in my opinion, which is fascinating. I love it, but yeah. And I want a Wasteland Workshop update, more ship parts. Let me do more things with my
No,
ship.
not more ship parts.
Why?
I tried again even with this expansion to go in and do that. I just couldn't. Every time I had issues with stuff not connecting right or not enough engine power or not enough fuel or I just
Oh
couldn't.
well.
My mind is too small.
I love the shipbuilding. It's great. It's so yeah. I get lost like for hours. I think that's most of my play time is in that shipbuilding menu, just testing things out, moving things around, trying to get my stairs lined up. Still, I gave up on that. But yeah.
Good old Bethesda. I have been doing my own shipbuilding of sorts, Kyle.
Oh yeah.
Keeping in the keeping in this theme of spooky month, Halloween. I jumped into finally after a year of hearing about this from the PlayStation Access team. I don't know if you watch any of their stuff. One of their members, very big on this last year, jumped into Dredge on, I believe it's in PS Plus, which is where I started it. What a what a delight. What a joy. This is at its core a fishing game. You start off being washed up in a port town as most sort of simulator games go, you're gifted a ship, gotta pay back the ship, not just give it to you free. You're kind of in debt to the town for the time being. So I set off on my rightfully named SS Raskadoo, R.I.P. buddy, on our adventure. Go around fishing, little whirlpools pop up, different types of fish. There's different sort of bait and lures you need for like coastal fishing, deep oceanic fishing, whatever. So you're kind of balancing that act. And then it starts getting weird. As you're fishing, you may catch a fish with a third eye, or you may catch a fish that's glowing neon, or you may catch a mini Cthulhu looking thing. Gets kind of creepy. Uh, it slowly unwraps into a Lovecraftian horror experience where you're on a day and night cycle. Nighttime, you start becoming paranoid. You may see a ship out in the water that if you get close to, it becomes a giant anglerfish about to eat your boat that you run away from. You may have rocks appearing out of the water, out of nowhere, to crash your boat and start over. And it really becomes a play on the senses and trying to manage resources and where your nearest port is to save and rest and how much fish do you have on board to sell and make your money back and all these different things. And there's a really great thematically of what it's doing. On video if anyone's watching, I has a sort of Resident Evil 4 inventory system on a grid base, so everything you do or buy takes up X amount of squares in a grid that you're for the most part can place wherever you want, so you can rotate things, have them fit how you wherever you want to make whatever work. So it's managing tools you need and lights and engines and motors and additional fishing equipment with the actual fish you're bringing back, which makes little puzzle elements. But it's just I fell in love. It's so incredibly great at leaving you a breadcrumb trail of what you need to do to progress in the game of hey, you need to pay your boat back. Cool. How do I do that? Get fish. Cool. How do I get more fish? You need to upgrade your boat and upgrade your lures. But how do you do that? You need to go out at night and get the rare stuff. But how do you fight off against that? You need to do this and that and this and it just it's the type of thing that my mind is like jumping 20 steps ahead every time I'm doing what I need to be aiming for next, what my next little play session is going to be because the days go by very fast. It's whenever you're moving or doing stuff as time progresses. So every time you're moving, it takes a second off the day, it takes a minute off the day. So you're kind of battling time, but it makes it where you're laying out your day of am I fishing here? Am I upgrading? Am I exploring? Am I rebuilding stuff? Just so many different things going on. And it's really, really good game. Love Dredge. And I also found out researching after, I remember this being announced. We're also getting a movie about this game in the upcoming years, being helmed by one of the producers for the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Signed a deal with the developer, and they are getting a live action Dredge movie in the near future. So I am so on board.
That's fascinating. Would not have thought that's what you were going to say by the end of this.
Nope.
I missed that news as well. That's crazy.
Yeah, I saw it 2 days ago. I was like, holy shit! Like, it's gonna be cool. Like, if they get the elements and the spookiness of it, all awesome, great.
Yeah, the way you described it, I mean, story wise, briefly, like that, yeah, that fits for a narrative. I like this aesthetic too. I mean, I love Far Harbor in Fallout 4, which you give me there's tugboats, foggy shoreline. That's cool. I like the art style of this too. I'm really,
It
yeah,
reminded me a lot. Since you said that, it reminded me a lot of Dungeons of Hinterberg. Kind of that blocky, polygonal, like
cell shaded
flat
type
colors. Yeah,
thing, right? Yeah, yeah. I was just like watching the video. I was like, oh man, like really like this art. Really cool.
yeah.
I wish I had more time to play games, but I'm not even gonna think about playing this. I'm gonna just experience it and experience the movie now. I don't even have to. I don't got to play it to get a story about it. So that's even better. I can go in blind.
Yeah, it's something that's just so full of charm. Like I said, it's you the boat. You're literally this is the only gameplay you have is controlling the boat. When you go into towns, it kind of brings up this point and click adventure thing of do you want to go to the store or the fishmonger or the wharf? Like it just has you pick where you want to go. The character models are very like Disco Elysium miss for me.
Yeah.
They have that sort of dark, gritty art style. But just I wish I would have played it without the knowledge going in almost to get that kind of shock of like, oh, why are these rocks appearing out of nowhere? Why is there a kraken in the ocean trying to attack me? Like have that hit you. But it's just so unique. Like you have Lovecraftian stuff, you have Cthulhu stuff in games, but not in a fishing simulator essentially.
Yeah. That's funny.
Which is
Didn't
it's
they have
awesome.
a didn't they have a collab with someone too? That
They
was like interesting.
might have been in
I'm gonna look. Was
uh,
that one of the
Dave the Diver
that's
things.
yeah.
If
What
I
am I trying to spell here?
Yeah, Dave the Diver Dredge collaboration.
Oh, okay, yeah. Depths of are coming to Dave the Diver.
Which makes sense.
Got it.
Like
So
people like their fishing games. I like my fishing games in Stardew. Like making that it's a little mini game essentially into its own.
the fishing in Stardew is awful.
It's bad, but it's what I do all the time. Every
Fair.
World of Warcraft I get on, I'm fishing half the time if I'm not streaming. Like it's relaxing in a weird way. But even the
Oh, I get
fishing,
that.
they got the map's kind of designed in 5 different sections. You have like a volcano area, a swampy area, kind of a coastal Caribbean type theme. In each of the fishing mini games, when you drop anchor, are different. So it may be like keeping a little bobber in a circle as it goes around, avoiding obstacles, or as the prompt gets bigger to the outer circle, hit A then to reel in faster. So it even has different types of fishing elements to it, so it's not the same thing over and over each time.
That's cool.
Yeah,
And that's
it's
based on the H area
for the most part, yeah. So
for
I
the most
just
part.
got
Okay,
to a
that's cool.
Caribbean type place or I went to the volcanic area where there's fires and like old, just dilapidated buildings and stuff, and that was kind of the one where it's zooming out, hit A as it gets to the outer circle, which you can fish without, but it keeps your timer going nonstop. So you want to do it faster and faster to get as much as you can.
Mm.
Get out of there, go back to wharf. Just yeah, like I said, I heard about it last year a lot, and it was something I wanted to jump into. Just never had time. I wasn't playing big on the PlayStation. I don't think it's on Xbox even now. So PC, PlayStation is the most biggest way to experience this if you're looking for it. But yeah, if you're into spooky stuff, into fishing games, into just exploration stuff, you'll find there's shipwrecks scattered about too, and you find messages in bottles of people kind of experiencing the same things you are and how they handled it and being able to work over plans from those and just very beautiful time. Beautiful time. Something I wasn't expecting to love this year, and it's if I'm doing game of the year stuff of everything I played that didn't release this year, this would be near the top already.
Oh wow, that's cool. It's good to hear.
Yeah. It's I tweeted about it too. This would be the game that would make me get a Portal. Like
Oh
I'm wanting to jump in, just
yeah,
do a day's run here and there. Like it would be the thing. This would be the thing I would get a Portal and use handheld stuff for.
that makes sense. Yeah. Yep. We can let PlayStation let us know. We'll give you our addresses.
We've been asking. Struggling dad and struggling Midwesterner
how,
dying of the cold.
how, how dare you say I'm struggling?
Yeah, I saw
How do
your
you
tweet
know?
yesterday.
Yeah, that's true. My baby had a poop mine from the depths of Khazad-dûm. It was awful. It was just, when it smells old, that's wrong, right? That's all I'm gonna say.
I was
Mm,
driving back from Bismarck and looked at that and I about died. I was hysterical laughing.
I'm glad you liked it. I thought it was a very well crafted tweet about
It
a really smelly diaper.
was good. I want to hear outside of the diapers about the other game you've been playing this week because I got some questions. That's Tiny Glade.
Oh, yeah, Tiny Glade is a builder diorama style builder little thing. where you are building a little no objective, just whatever you can create. You're building a little tiny town, a hamlet, a lighthouse, whatever you want. It is just a very intuitive building game where it's just peaceful and cozy, and it just does stuff for you as you're building, and it's amazing, right? Uh, what are your questions?
Oh, so what? You get in, you start up the game. The
Yes.
way you made it sound from the streams I've joined, is it just a fresh start every day? Is it a fresh start every time you log in? Are you
So you
continuing
have,
on previous builds?
yeah, you can have multiple builds. I don't know what the cap is. I only have a few, but you can go into that old one and add on to it. It's not like you hit an endpoint at any point. You can just delete everything and restart it. There's a couple. There's like five or six. I think there's five different environments, like summer, and autumn, and then winter, and then like a flowery more type thing, springtime. That's the other season in spring. And then they have daily themes that give you like a little push to be like, hey, if here's a prompt, now go build that, which is what I did the other day on stream. I made a lonely lighthouse and such, but it's just something to be creative in. That's all it is. You have, if you're watching on stream, is very limited tools, but the way you can manipulate them is incredible. They are very, it's like I said, it's very intuitive, and it kind of knows what you want to do within its limited scope, but it also has a crazy amount of builds that are online are insane of what you could do. People are creating floating ships and castles, and it's like, how do you figure that out? But yeah, it's just a very intuitive game. As you're placing doors, as pathways, things will pop up next to it to kind of fill out the space. It's nothing interior. It's all on the outside. It is an amazingly cozy game just to kind of let your creativity flow and just build whatever you want.
So yeah, that prompt then is what must have been in my head canon when you were playing this. I imagined like each day you just kind of started fresh and were given a task or like a theme to build, and that's where I thought you were where that came from. So that makes sense.
Oh yeah. That's just the daily theme for that. But yeah, it's They also have a couple. One of the camp when I played the demo at Steam Next Fest in summer, I instantly was like, this is like a cool D&D map maker. And I don't know if it was, I don't think it was in there yet, but maybe I just missed it. But now there is a setting to change the camera and take a screenshot from a top-down perspective, just like a D&D map. So if you mess with any tabletop games, I guess, that has tile maps, grid-based maps that you're using, this makes them, and you can just make your own D&D maps within this game, and then you can just screen down or screenshot from the top down and have that map, which is cool. So it's just, yeah, a really fun game. I'm excited to see where this goes. It's from just a small team, Pound Slight, uh, self-published. I think I remember they are smaller. I think I saw them get nominated at the Golden Game Award, Golden Stick Awards, whatever
Joystick,
it's
yep.
called. Joystick, there it is.
That one
I think
thing.
they were nominated for like a self-published game, but I might be getting that wrong. Don't quote me. But yeah, small studio nonetheless, indie game, very fun, very strong. Like I just, it's so intuitive. It just like the way everything changes and manipulates on its own is just kind of like, oh yeah, that's kind of what I wanted anyways, and that's cool. And even if you want to change it up, it's not hard to get there. You know, I wanted to make on my last stream doing the Hobbit hole. I wanted to make a little Hobbit hole. I wanted to tuck in something more to the rocks, and it was like, oh yeah, just manipulate the rocks, and then you're able to do a lot. Where I kept struggling trying to make that happen, and finally by the end, it's like I did what I wanted to do at the end result. So really fun game. It's only like I think $15 when it's not on sale. So if you want just a cozy builder, highly recommend it. Really fun.
Did is there any sort of? It probably sounds dumb to even ask. Is there any sort of like end game? Like when you're done with a build, is there any like grading system? Like, hey, you did like the prompt it gives you. Like, is there like a star system for that or anything?
Nope, just your own enjoyment and praise if you post it and people like it.
There you go.
Yeah, no, it is just the builder, and that's all it needs to be.
Cozy game being cozy.
Yeah,
It's exciting. I've enjoyed. I've had watched join your stream twice. I've had a couple TikTokers come up on my page about it now too since then. So there's a community around it, which is awesome. Like that's what'll keep them adding either content or whatever into the game to keep it going for a while. Yeah,
yeah. There
it's
was I retweeted a couple. I mean, it was probably like over a week ago by now, but there was someone who just did a build and like made basically a poster, and it was just the layers that they developed and within their build, and it's a full city with just a ton of different things. It's just like, whoa, you can do a ton of stuff in this game. Did not know that. Really cool.
there you go. It gives me oh, what was it? Project Spark vibes. If you remember that from the Xbox One days. A
I
very pulled
do.
back minimalistic version of that. Which might have been what that game needed to begin with. Because there was too much going on. But yeah.
Eh.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm holding up on screen because I can't figure it out. It's not gonna focus. I'm sorry. I turned the autofocus off.
That was wild, yeah.
But yeah, just that's just yeah, and I just took that picture from one angle and such. I gotta figure out there's a way if you I think I remember if I saw it on Twitter, if you press X or H when and then you can set the camera to record your build, and that's what people have been doing time lapse builds of stuff. That's
Ooh.
really cool. So like there's a lot of like I haven't done it, but like seeing people do this, like that's just in the game already. Like being able to record a time lapse of your build is like that's really cool. So I would love for them to add interiors or be able to like touch up, maybe add some like I want patio furniture for some of my stuff, you know. So we'll see what they add, but it's a great game. Support it. Go support it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's again more unique stuff. More smaller teams being able to make sort of passion projects without having to try to be the next big thing. With that, I think that about wraps it up for us today, friend. Unless you got anything else you want to throw out there for the end here.
Nope, just what's coming up, you know.
What's coming up? What are you streaming? Did you decide what your next game is now that Starfield's out of the way?
Yeah, so yeah, for the next I'm going to be streaming if internet works. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we're going to be going through The Quarry. I made my decision. I want to play The Quarry. So, I'm going to try to beat that before other games come out. But that's going to be our next stream game. So, come on over, hang out, help, participate,
Help.
you know, don't tell me things, but help. And yeah, and I'm still working on Persona 3. I I'm getting like an hour-ish no matter what a day, sometimes more. I'm still only like 15 hours in, so I know I'm early, you know. I need to something has to happen. I'm almost at the second full moon and something's supposed to happen again. So,
Sure.
we'll see. We'll see.
Now that you're sticking it out for Metaphor to come out, put a little extra oomph in your step on getting it done.
I know. Well, nah.
Nah.
Because then I would want to buy a metaphor if especially if I like Persona 3 by the end of it. You know, if I'm like, wow, great game, it's not going to help me with waiting on
Nah.
metaphor.
It's it's such a weird thing to struggle with. Like when you were talking about what game to play next, like I struggle with that so much when I finish something, especially trying to balance newer stuff with old stuff and titles I may have missed. Like I get myself in a decision paralysis almost, or I just won't play anything if I can't decide, which sucks, especially with what we're doing here.
Yeah, it has helped not buying Madden and deleting sports games because now I'm not stuck on those. So that's helped me be like, let me actually do something and not just like play a game, right? I'm actually like, let me play a game.
Yeah, that was me today. I kicked on Forza Horizon 5 on cloud streaming on the Xbox for about two races before the whole thing crashed as I was expecting. Like I'm doing this when I should be actually like playing other stuff for reasons. Like I'm just doing races.
It's a good game though.
It's so good. Until cloud streaming crashed on me on my Xbox.
Still impressive that you got 2 games out. That's pretty good.
Yeah, 2 races, and then it was so
Oh, yeah.
smooth. I almost was like, "This did they change anything?" And then the third one, it just hard stutter, crash, and couldn't connect. I'm like, okay,
It's
that's
like
my
we
sign.
it's like we gave you everything for those 2 races. Now we're out. All right, we try. We're done.
Stop talking bad about cloud gaming in the Midwest.
Yeah. Well, they'll probably figure that out by the time Fable comes out this fall. Next
This
fall.
next fall, hopefully, hopefully. Please don't get delayed.
Nah, take your time. I'm okay with it. That's one I can wait for. But I think we don't need to start that conversation.
Conversation to have soon as we look ahead, though, in 2025. I started doing for the site. I'm doing kind of a list of every Xbox exclusive third party, first party that we have announced, and just what studios are doing. And
Ooh.
writing that out, I'm getting myself hyped every time. I'm like, I can't wait anymore.
Yeah, next year's even crazier than what we were like, man, 2024 is going to be crazy. Somehow it's even crazier, but that's what happens when games get delayed because of stuff. This is like still dealing with post COVID stuff, all the delays and
Mm-hmm.
such.
And it's so
So
good when all the games are like directly marketed at you and all things that like scratch your itch. Like Doom, I'm in. Fable, I'm in. South of Midnight, I've been in since announcement. Like everything they're doing next year, I am. Thank you, Game Pass, for saving my wallet.
yeah, for real.
With that, though,
Huge.
big, huge. That'll be the end of us for episode 39 here. We'll be back next week, same time, same places, for episode 40, after our initial actual first year anniversary. And hopefully, same time. My birthday is next Sunday.
Oh.
May be here. That may change, but I will find out. I'll tweet it. Thanks for stopping
Yeah,
by. She said we could what?
Oh, I was like, we could. This is all. We could do it another day if we need to. We could. That's not
Side conversations to have. Yeah, same
exactly.
place, same. Follow us on the Twitters. Follow us on the Twitches. As Kyle said, streams Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. We'll catch you all next week. Happy gaming.
Bye.